Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for RB. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, dreams, commentaries, tier list, rankings, right, whatever the case may be, live streams, movie review, re-review, what have you, I'll try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. RB has been very generous. Thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate it. And this time, he wanted me to look at another TNA pay-per-view, Bound for Glory 2011. Which I did like this more than the last one. I already forgot what the year was that came out. Because I reviewed now a couple of TNA pay-per-views, and this one I did like. I didn't follow TNA, Total Nonstop Action, as a wrestling contribution to the state of the world of 2011. I just never watched them. I was kind of out of wrestling. Not kind of, I was out of wrestling. So it was interesting kind of dive into, thanks to people like RB. And I guess around this time, Hulk Hogan was with Eric Bischoff, and they were running TNA. And I guess the idea is that they kind of became bad guys and took control from Dixie Carter. Granted, I don't think the fans gave a flying fuck about any of this, but that's what they tried to do. And so the big story was that Hogan was going to battle Sting. Now, the big thing about this pay-per-view, it was the last match Hulk Hogan ever had. He would appear, in WWE, in the moment where he was with The Rock and Stone Cold during WrestleMania, but an actual match, this is the last one. You could kind of see why I'm watching it, but it was. So, if you ever want to see Hogan's actual last match, TNA Bound for Glory 2011 is the one to do it. But the other matches, before I get into the details, Austin Aries versus Brian Kendrick for the TNA X Division Championship. Rob Van Dam versus Jerry Lynn. Crimson, Samoa Joe, and Matt Morgan, all three of them fighting each other. Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. A four-way TNA women's knockout that no one's going to give a fuck about. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. Hulk Hogan versus Sting. And Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. Now, Mike Tenay and Taz, they were the commentators. I thought they do fine. I don't mind them as a commentating team. Sometimes Taz has a few funny bits here and there to say. Austin Aries versus Brian Kendrick. Quite liked this match. I thought it was a good opener. It's pretty fast paced. A lot of good moves. The crowd was fully behind Austin Aries. Even though it seems like at times he was trying to do heelish tactics, the crowd was just gun-ho for Austin Aries. Like, no matter what he did. Good, like, head takedowns. Brian Kendrick unleashes some good drop kicks and give these monkey flips. Austin Aries gives a nice clothesline. Flips over the rope onto Brian Kendrick. Some good back and forth. Austin Aries does this cool looking pendulum, like the pendulum elbow, where he slams the elbow down onto the guy. Nice looking tornado DDT. Austin Aries does a very impactful dive through the ropes to hit Brian Kendrick that looked like it fucking hurt. Drop kicks the guy when he's in the corner. A lot of big hits taken. Nice back and forth. Nice looking brain buster. Austin Aries wins. Very solid opener. I'm like, okay, cool. This is like a good way to get the people popping. Then all, you know, both did their jobs well. Pretty fast paced. I did some good. Honestly, I thought one of the better matches of the card. And I'm not 100% familiar with Austin Aries. Brian Kendrick, I remember him a little bit when he was with Paul London. And again, that's how much into wrestling I'm not into. People go, really? You don't know Austin Aries much? No, because I've explained in quite a few videos. I'll listen to podcasts about wrestling, Stevie Richards, Jim Cornette, even Maven and such, Dutch Mantel. But I haven't watched wrestling in a long time other than a few of these requests I've gotten. And some of them have been fun like this one, so. But if you asked me any questions about AEW or the product of WWE today, which people say is shit, I'm like, yeah, it probably is. I just, I don't follow it. Then you have RVD versus Jerry Lynn. This one, the beginning was pretty rough. I like Rob Van Dam as a wrestler. As a person, I think he's a bit of an idiot. That whole thing where he was sticking up for Rampage Jackson's son during that whole thing that happened months ago, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He just came off as a moron. But I like him as a wrestler. And you tell they're getting a bit old. Rob Van Dam, he would do stuff and not quite make it. Like, he was doing this thing where the Jerry Lynn's head is down, and so Rob would flip forward onto the back, and the idea was that he's supposed to land on his feet, but instead he lands on his fucking face. So it's supposed to be this counter, like, I'm running, throwing you to the ropes, you come back. He's supposed to flip and land on his feet, but he lands flat on his fucking face. It made him look stupid. I laughed at that. I went, he fell on his fucking face, and he wasn't supposed to. And the movements early on were very slow, as if they're going underwater. The only time Sally had picked up was when the ladders came in. So there's a ladder, Jerry Lynn slides and hits Rob Van Dam with the ladder. RVD gets a chair, drop kicks Jerry Lynn using the chair, and pushes the chair into Jerry Lynn's face. There's a ladder in the ring, and suplex onto the ladder, spring onto the ladder that Jerry Lynn is on. There's definitely some moments that look like they hurt. This is one bit that I don't know what the fuck RVD was doing, where like Jerry Lynn is here, and RVD just gets on the ropes and does a backflip and then looks at him. And I'm like, why did he do that? Like, RVD, imagine he's facing the camera and the ropes here. He does a backflip. He's not trying to land on the guy. He's not trying to kick the guy. He just goes and does a backflip for no fucking reason, just so Jerry Lynn can then hit him. And I'm like, why the fuck did RVD do that? Why did he do this random fucking backflip? Was there some miscommunication? Was he trying to do something but he forgot? I don't know. So there was definitely some messiness and some botches. But I mean, there's definitely some hard-hitting, stuff that looked painful. The end when he's got Jerry Lynn in the corner and then put a ladder on him and then a chair on him, and he does a coast-to-coast, boom, hits where Rob Van Dam jumps and goes all the way, and both feet hit the chair, which hits the ladder, which hits Jerry Lynn, knocking him out. 1, 2, 3, wins. And the crowd was into it. ECW, RVD. So even though there was messiness, even though it started off slow, the crowd was into it. It was Philadelphia. I mean, to have a good spot to have an ECW type of match, Philadelphia, of course, and the people were really into it. And definitely not as good as the first match. The second half was more fun in that car wreck way. It was still cool to see Van Dam, RVD, Rob Van Dam. Okay. Make sure I get the Van Dams right. Do some moves like, here's the chair, does a fucking spin kick, hitting the guy with the chair. There's still some cool moves like that. Nice to see RVD. It's been a while since I watched a Rob Van Dam match. Maybe that's the thing as well. Like, if you've seen 10, 15 RVD matches in the past couple months, and then you watch this, you may be like, ugh. But as a guy that hasn't seen an RVD match in a long time, it's kind of that perception. So even I'm like, this is pretty messy at the beginning and stuff. They're getting older. They're kind of the fumes is there, is running thin. But at the end of the second half, there's some fun to be had if you want to, some road. You call that fun? Well, I mean, you know what you're getting in for when you have like this type of match with these two guys who have faced each other many times in the past. I'm sure there's a dozen matches you go, that was better with these two guys. I'm sure there was. But yeah, I still wonder, like, why the fuck did Rob Van Dam do that one flip for no goddamn reason? I don't know. But overall, I liked it for what it was. Although the beginning, it started off rough. Crimson, Samoa Joe, and Matt Morgan. I don't give a fuck about Matt Morgan. I definitely don't give a fuck about Crimson. I like Samoa Joe. Why is this the second fucking pay-per-view I watched where he fucking lost? How many times did I have this guy lose on a fucking pay-per-view? There was one, not the last one, but I think the one before he did win. But like, goddamn, like, you could tell the crowd was gun-ho about Samoa Joe. As they should, because Samoa Joe, I haven't watched a ton of his matches. I'd have to, like, look into, like, the matches he won, because I like to see the ones he wins. Like, what are his 10 best matches of the matches he won and seat them out? Does the stuff I see of Samoa Joe, I like. He's got the look, he's got the, badass vibe to him, the facial expressions, he knows how to work the crowd, his hits, even it's like, I liked the way he punches. He has some good hard-hitting moves, and the crowd was for him the whole time. Even though Crimson and Matt Morgan are supposed to be the good guys. Oh, Matt Morgan he was sad and mad that Samoa Joe was trying to hurt Crimson, and he wants to help his fellow man. And then Crimson's supposed to be this babyface who has this winning streak for some reason. And the crowd didn't give a shit. The two are fighting Samoa Joe and they're booing. And then when Samoa Joe fights back. And they definitely didn't like Crimson because once Matt Morgan and Crimson are fighting, boo, yeah, and the boos are on to Crimson. This guy that you're giving it ended up to being a 470 win streak. Or 70 day. 470 day win streak. Why? Who the fuck is Crimson? Who gives a shit about Crimson? Did anyone ever give a flying fucking donkey fuck about Crimson? Who the fuck is Crimson? I don't know who the fuck Crimson is. I said that the last time I talked about one of these pay-per-views. I'm saying now, who the fuck is Crimson? What the fuck is Crimson? I'm getting hiccups thinking about fucking Crimson. And I've sounds like my fucking voice is ready to cry, like a fucking baby, or someone got a vice on my nuts, or a sledgehammer up my ass. But it's not, it's just the hiccups. Let me calm down. I want to drink this, but I don't want to drink it too. I really get the hiccups going. Relax. Relax. Just if you drink too quickly, you'll get the hiccups. Just. Okay. Who the fuck is Crimson, and why should I give a shit? This guy does nothing for me. When they did a little promos before, felt nothing. His look, his vibe, his energy, his moveset, nothing impresses me about the guy. Yeah, the guy to do a shitload more than I could. Everybody there could. Doesn't mean I'm going to praise everybody and give them 10 out of 10. I'm not like fucking Dave Meltzer with an AEW and giving everyone a pass. Who the fuck is Crimson? Why should I give a shit? The crowd didn't give a shit. And so the only time I was having fun was with the crowd when Samoa Joe did something. Eventually, Matt Morgan did something, and then Crimson got the win. Matt Morgan did something to Samoa Joe, and then Crimson got in and pinned Samoa Joe, and Crimson won. He continued his winning streak. He won. People didn't give a shit. I don't know why they put so much into... Does anyone remember who the fuck Crimson is nowadays? Whatever. So I didn't much like it for that. Fuck Crimson. Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. This surprised me. This I thought was really good. This was a lot better than I thought. This felt like what RVD and Jerry Lynn, I liked it, but kind of like in a car crash way. This was making that hardcore anything goes much more smoother and much more fun. This I thought was actually one of the better matches. Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. That was pretty good. Bully Ray made it where he hated Philly, and I used all you and milked you for all the money, and to get the crowd really hating him. And they start Fast and Furious, and Bully Ray's putting those punches in. Mr. Anderson, he gets a sign from the crowd that this is Philly, asshole, or something like that. Hits Bully Ray, and you find out it's one of those dead-end road signs, and he hits him again. You really hear the impact, which sells how painful this would be. He's even getting beer from the crowd and throwing into Bully Ray's face. And at one point, they're at the guardrail, and there's a woman and just throws it. And you could tell Mr. Anderson was looking at her as if he wanted to say or do something. Because obviously, like, you tell this part wasn't planned. The beer, he probably knows the guy, because at times they do work that, not all the time. But sometimes, like, hey, you put some people in the crowd I know who I could trust. But sometimes not. Sometimes I'll take the beer. But then, like, this woman just throws it, and again, Mr. Anderson is like looking at the woman as if, what the fuck are you doing? You know, but he doesn't. And you tell, like, soon after brings Bully Ray away from the lady. I did like the bit where they're kind of on the ramp and Bully Ray does something, and then he mocks the microphone, and then I'm from New York City, and or was it City or Jersey? I can't remember. And Mr. Anderson messes with him and says, No, yeah, New York. Because he goes, because Mr. Anderson goes, "This ain't New York City. Welcome to Philly, bitch." And hits Bully Ray with the mic, and the crowd popped for that. And there's some hard-hitting stuff in this, too. Mr. Anderson gets the guardrail. Took too long. Bully Ray gets Mr. Anderson. One thing leads to another. And Bully Ray lands on the guardrail, and you can tell it bends it. Because the guy's so big. And they go back and forth, landing on the guardrail. Some impactful hits. Also use of a table. There's a table outside. Mr. Anderson lands on Bully Ray, but the table don't break. So as improv, boom, they get in. He does his finishing move onto the table, breaks through, pins Bully Ray, 1, 2, 3. See, that's a good way of doing improv of, okay, the table didn't break. Quickly, don't be like, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, fuck it. We're going to do finishing move, boom, 1, 2, 3. Not someone looking, trying to find someone with 2 thumbs up their asses. So that was a fun match. That was like a smoother version, again, of the RVD Jerry Lynn match. But I did enjoy that for what it is. The 4-way TNA Women's Knockout, I'm not even going to tell who's in it. I tried to pay attention, and I didn't give a fuck. The women could not wrestle. Okay? Maybe they can stroke their clits or finger themselves, but they could not fucking wrestle. They could not do shit. And I'm not going to waste my time talking about the shit. Because it was shit. And anybody who watches this, each time a women's match, it's shit. Unless Dale Kim is involved. If Dale Kim's involved, maybe. But she wasn't involved with this, so it didn't fucking matter. Unless it's Dale Kim or Awesome Khan. If those two are not involved, then it's going to be shit. Or one of the others not involved, it's going to be shit. So, fuck it. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels. I like this, but I wanted a bit more. I think it's because of the I Quit stipulation, where there has to be a lot of grabs and submissive. That'd be a different wrestling match. Submission holds. If it's submissive, again, different, sex match, but submission holds. Although I don't really get how in I Quit matches, they'll do like 1 or 2 things and then go, "You say I quit?" I'm like, the match just started. Like most matches, you're fighting for 8-10 minutes and they're still kicking out. They're not going to say I quit in the first 30 seconds when you did one thing for 10 seconds. There is some good moves. A spring into an inverted DDT. That was a cool move from AJ Styles. A Pele kick. The Styles Clash. And a lot of reversals. I'm trying to get people to say I quit. Christopher Daniels tries to stab him with a fucking screwdriver. Okay, it's one thing to say I quit. It's another to kill someone or attempted murder. I'm like, that's a bit much. I mean, that's not I quit. That's I'm dead. So is it an I dead? I'm dead match? If it's a I am dead match, yeah, I guess you have the screwdriver, but I mean, it's attempted murder. But now, come on. So I thought the screwdriver was a bit much. I thought that was a bit much. And the crowd was really for AJ Styles. Early on, I did like "You quit," and Christopher Daniels says, "Why don't you suck my?" And then he stops because AJ Styles throws him, and then AJ takes the microphone and he goes, "Why don't you suck this?" and puts the microphone into Christopher Daniels' mouth. I thought that was a fun moment. But again, him trying to stab AJ with the screwdriver, that's what it looked like. If it wasn't, it looked like a screwdriver. And then it stabs into the, does AJ moved out of the way. The belt, the buckle, the top buckle. There's some nice moments where AJ's getting out of the way while the guy almost hits him to show the quickness of AJ Styles. I liked those moments. The ending of the match, though, was really crap. So while I liked it, just what happens is, like I said, AJ does a couple of cool moves, inverted DDT, Pele kick, where he jumps up, and it's like he's upside. When he jumps, it's like he flips upside down and hits the guy with his foot. And then the Styles Clash. And then he grabs the screwdriver that's still at the buckle and comes at him. And the guy goes, "I quit, AJ, I quit, I quit." So, okay, he's the chicken shit heel. Okay. But it just seemed like, oh, I guess we're done now. And then AJ goes out, and then the guy beats him up anyway and leaves him being up on the ground. So granted, AJ got the win, but Christopher Daniels beat him up and ran away. It just, it seems like a precursor to a bigger, more finite match, which maybe that would be better. Maybe that would be the match I wanted out of this. I don't know. So I liked it, but I don't know. So I liked it, but the ending was very meh. Then you have Hogan versus Sting. I gotta be honest, other than the 4-way TNA match with the women, this was the worst match. This was the worst match. Even the Crimson Samoa Joe Matt Morgan, I'd rather watch that than this. Steen, I like. I didn't grow up watching him, though, so I'm not as familiar with him as other people are. But I know of him, of course. I've seen some matches with him. Not a ton, though. Hogan, I liked Hulk Hogan as a kid. I'm far away from that. I know he passed away. Sorry to hear that. But as a kid, I was a Hulkamaniac. When I got into my 30s and afterward, that changed, and I'm quite the opposite. I could watch his old stuff and, enjoy some stuff for nostalgia. I can. That what some people call golden era of wrestling, the 80s to, right before the new generation. I just still enjoy his promos. I just still enjoy Suburban Commando. But I'm a used to be Hogan fan who is not a Hogan. Just for a number of reasons that would take like a whole fucking video to just get into. Just politics, behind the scenes, putting people down, people that could have been, should have been more. The whole bullshit racist thing didn't help either. Him phoning his son when that son's buddy or whatever was in a coma. And his Hogan talking about, oh, wait, we could make money off of this. All the lies he told for no damn reason. Incessant lies. It's like, why? The fact that you could not trust anything the guy said because he lied so much for no apparent good reason. So yeah. And so Hogan comes out in an Impact shirt. Sting comes out in a Hulkamania yellow shirt because I guess he still was hoping the real Hulk was in there. What, as if you're fucking Luke Skywalker appeasing the Darth Vader? Then Hogan has Ric Flair come out. And then the match happens, and and Dixie Carter's on the outside. Eric Bischoff's kind of on the outside. And it is a slow match. Hogan can barely move. Hell, Steen could barely move. I mean, he could move a bit better than Hogan. But I mean, Steen was not this big, choreographed, athletic guy. He did, I mean, to be honest, maybe because I haven't seen his heyday, I gotta be brutally honest. The past few stuff I've seen of Steen in these reviews, I haven't really been that impressed by Steen. Granted, that's not fair to say because I'm sure people will go, well, you gotta see his heyday. And I vaguely remember moments, but I didn't get to watch WCW back in the day. I watched WWF because of some tapes, VHS tapes. At WCW, when I did start watching, it was during the Monday Night Wars, and Sting usually, used the baseball bat and was in the rafters, pretending to be the Crow. But again, maybe it's not fair to compare Sting based on his TNA days. So I can understand that. I can give you that. I'm just saying, man, but Hogan can do less, a lot less. There's like punches, the weakest fucking non-clothesline Hogan gives to Sting. These like punches like this, then throwing Steen out, and then while the ref is over here, Ric Flair is doing this, punching Steen. And it's a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Steen does like 2 splashes in the corner. One to Hogan's front, one to Hogan's back. Puts Hogan in the death lock. I want to say sharpshooter, but that's Bret Hart. But Steen's version. Hogan immediately gives up. Immediately gives up. I'm like, this was thankfully a quick match. It was all build up and afterward where Eric Bischoff goes in, Ric Flair goes in, people like Bullet Ray goes in, they're beating up Steen, and Steen's like, come on, Hogan, and Hogan's looked at the crowd's like, yeah, and he rips up the shirt, he gives these punches, because that's all Hogan can do, and this is what it was about. The crowd popped, Hogan doing this, it was, the last match, because he mentioned something about retirement, so people think they're seeing this for the last time. I mean, they saw the last match, true. So in a way, that was correct. And doing this, and people are popping for it. He doesn't do the whole pose, just does a little bit, and Hogan and Steen are teaming up. So they're both like punching the others. Then they're in the ring together. And then that's it. This fucking sucked. This was awful. This was slow as fuck. Way past their primes, especially Hogan. This was... You might as well have a goddamn wheelchairs and crutches and diapers on. Because it's a goddamn retirement home. And this fucking sucked. I can understand you saying, well, this was... I don't give a fuck what it was for. I don't care. It was shit. I still think it was shit. So, yeah, what a fucking travesty this was. God damn. Other than the women's match, this was the worst fucking match of the show. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. Fast-paced. Probably because they didn't have much time. Because Hogan and Sting, well, Hogan took all the fucking time for themselves, so they didn't have much time left. Pretty fast paced, both work well. Kurt Angle, even at the age, could still not move as fast as before, but still move pretty good. Angle slams, suplexes, things of that nature. Enjoyable enough match. And then surprisingly enough, Kurt Angle won. A little bit of cheating. He used the ropes and the ref didn't see it. I know people were confused. Why the fuck did Bobby Roode lose? From what I understand, what happened was a friend of his got a match. And he's like, well, how come he got a title match, but I had to go through a whole tournament to get one? And then that helped make Bobby Roode a villain, a heel. And then people said Bobby Roode was much better a heel than a babyface. So people say in retrospect, it actually worked out. So maybe it did. Again, I'm not as knowledgeable on these people as others, but I read a little bit about that. Because I was curious about what happened after that. Because like, oh, that's weird. But, you know. I like Kurt Angle. So I'm fine he won. Even though it was getting a little bit of cheating. But a win's a win, I guess. But yeah, I didn't mind it. It was fun. Both could work. I mean, it was a hell of a lot better than the match I saw with Hogan and Sting. I mean, if I said my favorite match of this night, like if I had to like rank from best to worst, my favorite match, surprisingly enough, I'd probably say Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. I would say that was my favorite. Austin Aries versus Brian Kendrick, and Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. Those were my top three. Then AJ versus Christopher Daniels. Then RVD versus Jerry Lynn. Then the bottom three would be Crimson, Samoa Joe, and Matt Morgan. Three-way match. The Hogan versus Sting catastrophe, and the women's match. And probably the only reason I put Hogan and Sting above the women's match is, number one, it's cool to see Sting. It was, and the crowd was more into it, which, a little bit infectious, so that's really it. But yeah, overall I did like this pay-per-view. This was a fun pay-per-view. And there you go, I got to see Hogan's final match, and it was a piece of shit. But the other matches were a lot better. Not all of them perfect, but overall a fun pay-per-view. I did like this one. So, thank you once again, RB. Appreciate it. Take care, everyone, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.